Call the meeting order. Scout, lead us in the attention to the flag.
Bow with me, please. Heavenly Father, as we come to you today, we always ask for your guidance and your wisdom as we deal with our students and our staff. We ask that we always keep you first and foremost in our thoughts and in our process. Lord, we just lift up those that have been dealing with leg issues. Ask that you just continue to help them. We pray that you keep this tropical storm away and just dissipate, Lord. We thank you for all the blessings and the way the school has started out strongly for us, and we appreciate all the hard work that goes through that. And we know that's because of you, Lord. We ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item B, adoption of the agenda, there are corrections.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Item C, we welcome our visitors. This will be time for public comment. Anybody want to address the board? If not, welcome all visitors. All four. Item D, Brandon Eastman, talk to us about a bus for the children's day.
Travis, Bill, you want to say a few comments on this one?
I'm gonna let my main man Brandon take a point on this.
We're here to ask permission to sell a bus to the children's table. This isn't our normal procedure, so we wanted to bring it to the board, get permission. Before I get into the bus, I want to share a little bit about the children's table. There's a lot more information in the packet I gave you all, I believe, but I'm not only going to go over a few points. The children's table was founded in 1996 by William and Verna Brown. It's a non-profit organization in Lee County that provides food to needy families. In the packet I provided you, you can see some of the things they do and what their goal is. Their goal is to simply feed one more family. The children's table does not receive federal, state, county, or municipal funds. Funding comes from voluntary contributions by the people who receive food. No one is ever turned away due to not donating. All are greeted with hugs and open arms and treated with respect. The children's table has provided food for thousands of families. They've distributed over 27 million pounds of free food to needy families. While their primary focus has been serving North Central Florida, they have also partnered with faith organizations to provide disaster relief following the tornadoes in Alabama, Puerto Rico following Hurricane Maria, North Carolina, Panama City, Mexico Beach following the Hurricane Michael. So we're asking for permission to sell bus 0066 to the children's table for $2,000. This is one of our buses we've surplus recently. We sold the children's table a bus in 2014 for $1,250. That was before we started listing surplus items on the GovDeals like we do now. Since this isn't our normal procedure, we wanted to ask the board's permission. We came up with a price from previous auctions from GovDeals of what buses went for. The last 6 buses were sold with a similar year in condition average of $3,375. We feel that with what the children's table does inside and outside this community, that they should get a break. It's taxpayers' dollars that paid for the bus originally, and those same people should be seeing it go to a good cause in the community.
Thank you. There's all of it in the recommendation. I'll entertain action.
Move we sell the bus to the children's table.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we sell the bus to the children's table. Is there any discussion?
Just to make sure we're in the clear, Counselor. Okay. Don't want anything to come back and bite us in the behind later on. So that's why we're doing here.
No further discussion?
If you want to.
Well, I just figured you wouldn't.
The children's table does a great deal of good in our communities. They're based out of Bronxville. They serve the entire area, and it's really Mr. Brown has a giving heart. It's a brilliant idea that my weak mind is a daughter. when they contacted me, the bus that we had told them, they'd worn that joker out. And they use it to, they kind of strip the seats out, and they use it to deliver food to people that would go hungry, that want to afford that. And with as much abundance as we have in this world, ain't no reason somebody in the county should go hungry. They're making sure that don't happen and spread much further than the county. You don't have to make a certain income, you don't have to make below a certain income. All you have to do is say, I need. A great thing, and I think it's wonderful that we can help. Thank y'all.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Right like that. Someone's gonna come up with, this is the award bid for the Cedar Key re-roofing project that we discussed a couple months ago.
Yes, this is the one we started back in June and planned on the summer project. Towards the end of that bid deadline, we received new information from Gainesville Roofing, that would save the county a significant amount of money. And it would be a different type of roof, more for what we were wanting. That bid, back in June, it came back for $98,000 from Gainesville Roofing. They're the ones that submitted a bid back in June. We had more response from a couple different companies during this process, but 2 bids were placed. Gainesville Roofing and Lewis Walker Roofing. As you see in the bid tabulation sheet, Gainesville Roofing came in $11,300 under Lewis Walker Roofing. My recommendation is to go with Gainesville Roofing for $72,500. The difference is $25,500 from the scope of work we originally set in June.
Move we accept Gainesville Roofing bid as presented by staff.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we accept the roofing bid. Is there any discussion?
Just want to thank Charlie for kind of bringing it to us, so I know that we have been trying to work on a solution for this, so and appreciate there's new technology that also was a cost savings, so appreciate you bringing that, so.
Did you say you rebid this? You bid it out a second time and you got more bids? Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you expand your advertising? Somebody just picked it up?
Local paper sector.
I don't know if you were aware, we called it for rebid because Mr. Kennedy made us aware of a savings opportunity. And he removed his bid that we had awarded to save us money. And he could have gone right ahead. We approved what he had previously presented. We were set to go. And Mr. Kennedy, being a good Bronson graduate, local guy, said, hey, we can save a little money, let's rebid this thing. Took a chance, he might not get this bid done. A lot to be said for a fellow to do that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item F, is a request to advertise to adopt amended school board policy 3.11 and 8.111. Ms. Lake.
Good morning. We're asking for permission to advertise to amend board policies 8.11 and 8.111. These board policies have been amended as a result of a recent operational finding that stated the district should establish policies and procedures for negotiating, monitoring, and documenting the reasonableness of general condition costs. So 8.11 is our school construction bid process. We've amended that to include specific language specific to general condition costs. We've amended 8.111, which is pre-qualification procedures of contractors on school construction. Contractors must be pre-qualified to bid on projects over $200,000. We amended that one to include the application process. So this would just be for us to be able to advertise.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Amendments to 8.11 and 8.111. Is there any discussion? Just so that I do, where it says that qualification must be current within 1 year, so they have to have it at least a year before they can bid on it.
Oh, no, they don't have to, they have to be pre-qualified. It must be current within 1 calendar year, so they are pre-qualified, they must have to do that every year, to pre-qualify.
So it's not that they have to have a business for it.
Correct.
What's that process, Ms. Lee? Describe that for me.
I'm sure our maintenance director or Brandon might be able to, because that's a little outside my wheelhouse.
Gotcha.
It basically means that they're licensed to business in the state of Florida. They have the insurance certificates needed, and they meet any other stipulations that we put on. Basically, so, you know, just, they meet our qualifications. And it has to be, like, within a year, he's already present, but every time we go to bid, we get those qualifications just to make sure something hasn't lapsed. So that's basically what it means.
We need to make sure that we can do the job, whether it's licensure or financial.
Does it also roll in there like the Jessica Lunsford stuff? Does that have any bearing on it too?
Well, that depends upon whether projects and then certain things are happening. If it is a project happening on the school level, we can call it. I think that they have to.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Mr. Chair, can I ask Ms. Lake a question real quick, so while she's here? Someone asked me about school club raffles, and it was stated that the finance department said that we can't do that, and I wasn't aware of it. So our clubs can't do a raffle, is that correct? or what?
Yes, ma'am, but it's the state of Florida. It's a
Okay.
gamble.
So that's
So
what it's
it's-
considered
yes, ma'am.
for the, so no
Any
clubs
game a
can.
chance is gambling, and we cannot ask under age of 18 to participate in a gambling activity. So while the schools think it's a district policy, it's a state of Florida policy, and it's actually illegal.
Okay, yeah, maybe you just clarify that.
I
you know.
have, yes, ma'am.
I mean, I'm sure you have, and it's, you know, then the school, principal certainly was aware of it, you know, but that's what he said was a finance issue.
And the bookkeepers have.
Yes, ma'am, we touch on that every year at our bookkeeper meeting, and we have to use them as a resource to get it out to the club leaders. You could have a new club leader, but it is discussed, it's also in the red book, so it's pretty well known, but it is this idea that it's a district policy, but it goes beyond that.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure I'm clear, it was a new club leader, you're right, so, just make sure
Is
we're
there a
clear on that.
difference between a drawing and a raffle?
If there's no money exchange, a drawing is okay, it's not gambling, it's when money is exchanged.
So,
But
the point
now-
of-
Boosters can do that. We cannot because of the type of
PTO.
entity that we
If it is
are.
not, it's to the school. It could be a support organization.
If they qualify, they would, I'm not their accountant, but they would need to make sure they fall as an exemption to that law, and there are certain exemptions to that law, and one of those is a 501c3. So that's why you'll see boosters, and sometimes there's confusion at other schools. They may see Chiefland raffling something when Chiefland is, and it's Chiefland's booster, but Wilson may think it's the club. So that's where some confusion lies. So we do address this every year, we address this, because it's not the district letting one school do something different than the other.
Okay, all right, I think that's the confusion, I think, you'll just ask questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right. Moving on to item G, the legislative platform hearing.
Then you have the legal book, you have our last two documents that we use to develop our legislative platform. And I'll just let you know, or as you know, that we went and did a presentation for the Department of Education. We took 7 of us up here. It was myself, Mr. Lott, and Ms. Brookins went. We also have the sheriff, Chris Jones, and Harry Elsie from the city of Chiefland, and Carol Jones as well. We did our presentation at the Department of Education. We come out of that ranked second, and Baker was ranked ahead of us. And it's since then has been included in both it has been recommended by the State Board of Education, and it is in the, and by the Department of Education. that has been recommended and funded, full funding in those by the State Board of Education, Department of Education. And so now the hurdle is to, you have to get it into the governor's budget, and you also have to get it into the state, the Senate, and the House budget, and then we have to keep it there. And so that's where we're at for Chief of High School. Outstanding presentation. Everybody that was there, that on the outside looking in, said that it was one of the best that they've had. That we just got beat out the Baker by some things that they have. But that being said, and I know I'll turn this over to Mr. Cowart. We had a conference call yesterday with Kim McDougal on strategies and different things to do, and talking about different legislative priorities and strategies we're adding to.
The only thing, so I would be calling on some of you individually that may have some personal relationships with some people, so that through your businesses to kind of help us kind of navigate this. Obviously, the players, the superintendent's talked about, the governor will have his budget come out. Big thing right now is making sure it was in the State Board of Education budget that they adopted last week down in Fort Lauderdale. They actually, all three projects that presented were in the budget. So you have 4 special facility projects. You have Gilchrist, which is in the final year of renovation, and then you have Baker County, which was I think it's an elementary school. So that's getting replaced. They're moving locations. This location that they're in is not a safe location, and so instead they're going to put it across from the state mental hospital. That'll be safer. But, and then Levy was ranked 2nd, and then Bradford is replacing, I believe, 3 elementary schools. They're consolidating into 1 school, and doing that. Knowing that the climate, knowing that our Senate district, you have Senator Bradley, who's the appropriations chair, so that will be 4 projects from his district. He obviously swings a big enough stick that if he wants to make that happen, he'll make it happen. If you look back at what special facilities have funded, last year was $33 million, the year before was $50 million, and I think the year before was about 40-something million.
Yes.
So if you add up every single project, the 4 projects there, you're within the dollar budget of what they've done in the past. So feel good about that. But you never feel great until it's signed by the governor, because the governor has taken out his red veto pen before. So the State Board of Education approved it. Now we own the governor's budget, which will come out sometime between probably early December, I would think. So it would be when that would come out, because session will start early, and then the process is the legislature. So you have Speaker Oliva on the representative side, who's out of Miami, will be very, very important. And I believe we have a good standing with somebody who's going to be working on him. Then on the Senate side, you have President Galvano, who has actually had special facilities come out of his district. Glades was in his district, so he's very, very well aware of what special facilities with that. And then on the appropriations side, obviously the Senate, we talked about Bradley. On the House side, Travis Cummings, who is in the same area as Senator Bradley. So we don't really have any connections to him, so we'll be reaching out and touching base with him. That's my plan for this week, is to kind of get to him and get on his calendar, at least with staff, and just alert them. He was rumored at one point in time to be considered a replacing Senator Bradley, but as you know, Senator Bradley's wife, Jennifer, has come out, and Representative Cummings is just going to go back into private life. So, and then I'm trying to think of some other people that will be key with this.
Victor, President.
Right. So you have on the House side, Chris Sprouse. So out of kind of the Clearwater, Tampa area. And then you also have Representative Black Ballard, who we've met with the last 2 years. So he's big on the House Senate side, Kelly Starkey, who's out of Polk County, so she will be important.
What about Charlie Stone?
Of course, so I don't leave him out, other than, these are the people that outside of our district and
Oh,
our
okay.
county that we don't, on a day-to-day basis or week-to-week basis that we don't talk about, so that's why I mentioned, so not leaving out Representative Stone by any means, so because he has definitely been a champion for us.
Yes.
I guess it goes without saying, so I shouldn't leave him out. He will definitely help on the House side. Trying to think what else. The other question, so that's kind of in a nutshell. Things that kind of, I say, are landmines or things that we have to worry about. I always think that the reoccurrence of probably dollars needed to help with the hurricane districts last year will be a consideration. So the state board budget was like 300-something pages, and I'll be honest with you, I started and I got through about page 123, and then I scanned back to language for special facilities, so I haven't gone all the way through that to see. But I think that'll be a thing that we navigate. We know that we have some friends in the Panhandle who have always been very helpful to us, that are Levy County folk and have ties to former speakers of the House, former legislatures, and current legislatures from that side. So I feel like we're in a good position, but I'd love to be here at this point in time, a year from now, and we've got money in the bank, and I would feel even better. So,
What was Kim's recommendations? Such as mentioning those people, but what was her recommendations?
she's on it. She feels very confident, but just kind of like me, that until we see money in the bank. So, but she feels very good because we were ranked 1 or 2. So being in the top 2, I feel it is very positive for us. So, and I appreciate your efforts, Superintendent, so Mr. Lott, so the sheriff, and our 2C, so and Carol Jones, so people that put on. So I was texting, and so I had kind of a play-by-play as it was going on with you guys presenting, and I was told that more than one person who was in the room that by and large, Levy's presentation was the best presentation. The difference was, and this is no knock on Baker, because I feel like they did a good job. Also, from what I hear, the location of their school is very, very different. Whenever you have a person who has familiarity with that community, that has people there, tell you in a Rotary meeting that you have parents that won't even drive onto the campus to pick up their child, that they put them on the bus because they don't feel safe. And then, there's a reason why Baker was born. So we know, we understand, we've had dealings with that in the past ourselves. And so I think it's no knock on the efforts or what was done by our people. So they still deserve a very big pat on the back.
One of the things that Kim communicated to us yesterday, the budget that came out, they put it out. Of course, we deal with this being a the final year was the top one, but the other 3 they put it out in order, that it made sure that we reiterated when we had a conversation that we was 2. We're not 3. And because, at least the governor's office has a lot of stock in the ranking. So they value that process that we just went through. And so if you remember when we came out of the Wilson project,
if you were funded in the spring session of the legislature, when would you start construction of the school?
They're funded, so our fiscal year starts July 1. So July 1 will be the first year. And
First year of construction?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Just all the schools to go through. It's a lot of good.
I've been thinking about this process, and it's, we often hear it's not out, so, that are campaigning for Representative Stone, who's termed out, Senator Bradley, who's termed out. First, probably within about 30 seconds of talking to me, I go ahead and just put on their minds that, they've been in special facilities. We don't have the tax base to go out and build a brand new school. So number one, we try and do this about once every 80 years to make it last. And number two, we have to do that with the help of the legislature. And so I think we've got some good friends in the places that can be helpful. And I just want to always keep that on the forefront.
And so to get back to our topic here, thank you, Mr. Carroll, for updating on this, on our legislative platform. And as you know, that, like number two, the FSA, I'm trying to work with the School Boards Association, not School Boards Association, for the Superintendent's Association, to get this on their agenda. Because this was seen as a Lee County initiative. Somehow, if we want to accomplish this or do this, we have to get this to be a statewide issue. This is what the students' accommodation. Safe schools will be on everybody's agenda before we fund that. And so we have a 30% USC. So I definitely know that the Chief of High School Special Facility Project is going to be our number one priority. And so my question is there anything else that you would like us to consider or do or rank? So this is how we're going to.
Chris, on the first 126 pages that you read, the safe school funding, did you get anything with the Department of Education?
The big things that I saw out of there was there was a little uptake in mental health dollars, and then there was a $50 per student base student allocation. So
For safe schools?
No, that's just
Okay.
not. So I think the dollars will be flat. I do not see an increase.
So the department's not even asking for an increase?
Where are we as far as the uniform DFC statewide? We're still waiting.
Well, we tried that avenue, we didn't get any traction. So what we as a board did, we went and redid our policy. And so essentially our policy holds kids harmless as far as what they're raised on.
There's no appetite from the legislature.
They're not going to take it up.
So this is my, this may be wrong, obviously I think three things is plenty to focus on, and we know what one of those is. The question is, do you want to have something on your platform that you know that there's no appetite within the leadership to take up? And that's, so that we spend our efforts on something that we know is not going to get traction.
I'm with Chris on that.
So that's just me,
So then there's also, there's also that one that's a 5-year goal that you have to keep tagging on, keep it on the day right. And I don't know if that'll ever be. Yes, what we'll do is we'll just diminish its value over time, but all school districts make it known when we need to make through actions such as we did. So you're probably right. It's not affecting our children.
Every once in a while, you have to throw that ball down there. Doesn't matter. Maybe we still got that. I have a question on the funding thing, just because I got lost in it. What were the top three for school funding?
It's Gilchrist County.
Gilchrist is getting.
Of course, they were already, but then the three
Baker.
were Baker.
Us, Bradford.
All right, so now, and I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna be the bad guy, I'm gonna ask this question. Suppose it cuts down on three can get funded, Gilchrist, or Baker's, it comes down to Lee County and Bradford. Now, I happen to know where the man in the with the big stick comes from. Does he have the pull to kick us out of Bradford as a last hurrah?
I would believe that past practice has shown how you're ranked is how you're going to be funded. That's past practice. That doesn't mean, so.
I've seen past practice people.
I also know that there is outside factors that are detrimental to the district that they've been in the pipeline. So here's the thing.
I'm not trying to put a damper on, I'm
Right.
just, know what you're doing. I would think.
There's been years, like 2 years ago, it was $50 million in special facilities. So if you funded all 4 projects, you're way under that $50 million. So if there ever was a person, and I'm trying not to put too much faith in this, but if there ever was a person who's in power, it's his district, he wields the checkbook, he can do that. It may mean he has to take something from another pet project of his, but if he wants to get it done.
Okay.
With a wife who's in a Senate race at the
So-
same time also.
So that's right. So I was trying. Yeah.
I'll say it again.
So anyway, that being said, I believe we'll get funded out of it. I don't think that will be a problem.
I think we have to continue our doing what we know that we need to do, and I think that's part of the process. So the superintendent and I had a conversation yesterday with Kim. She kind of gave us our marching orders. We kind of told her what's going on behind the scenes on our part. So,
Yeah. Moving forward on ideas,
and I want to backtrack and say that by no means am I saying just because something won't have traction, do we not put it on there? I'm just, me being your legislative person, I'm trying to just give you full scope so we make a decision. So,
I agree with you. I don't think the 30% EOC thing has any interest whatsoever because it's not cool. It's whatever. And I agree with kind of what we did, make it where it's,
I will tell you that that is one of the proposals that FSBA will be deciding in 2 weeks. So, and I'll be there as our representative for legislative side. Hopefully, I think you've got an email from Ruth Melton, but I think there was 12 different proposals. 3 are safety and health. 2 are investing in students and schools. These are just kind of broad headlines. 2 are personnel driven. 3 are assessment and accountability, which one of them is eliminate the requirement of that an end-of-course exam counts 30%. 1 is curricular programs and service, and 1 is local authority.
And our win-win on that is just let the teacher decide the test and get rid of the EOC altogether. That's the win.
Absolutely. I'm very strong on discussions about local control, location, and also, and of course, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I will continue to be the accommodations horse as long as she's standing. And if that means we need to get kind of support and try and get the support from the Superintendent's Association. Because it's not strictly a Levy County problem. I don't think that any of these things are a Levy County issue that we bring forward. It's a kid issue, it's a student issue, and I think that's fine. I think when you sit here and make our decisions, I don't think anybody can doubt we don't make decisions thinking students as a whole. I think everything we bring up is about students, but I think it would be great to have a little bit more home rule, and I think it would be great to have some more discussion about vocational, because that's a definite need throughout the state, and cost of vocational education is expensive, and it's been ignored for a while. It's desperately needed.
So this is our 3rd public hearing workshop on our legislative platform. I'm not trying to be guiding the discussion, but we can chase rabbits down a lot of important. And I think what the goal was here 2 years ago when we started this was, you're gonna have 15 minutes in front of one of them. You wanna hit your hottest 3 topics while you have 15 minutes. You're gonna lose, their eyes start to glaze over after that. Am I right, Mr. Garrett?
Yes, sir.
And understand that
Everybody else is doing this.
same thing, and today, what we think may be most important, there's something along the lines, when session starts, that may fast track, that gets attention we don't even know about yet, that may become on our priorities. So basically, it's a blueprint for us to start with, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So, saying that, if we hold those to 3 or 4, whichever the board chooses, we take some action to put a formal blueprint in place so we can move forward, because politically, we're gonna start earlier.
Yes. I know we asked, I'm going back to the accommodations, we were kind of asked to kind of give DOE some time. If we check, follow back up with Kim on that to see if she ever was able to have any conversations.
No, sir, I mean, the last conversation I had was that with Kim, was that this needed to become a little bigger, football, not just the Lee County thing, and I talked to Joy Frank, and I also addressed all the superintendents about this topic, and trying to get him to do this in front of all the boards in general, to make this a superintendent association issue. Because I think, you know, I'm not, and until we get traction from other school districts and see the value or see the merit and see what we're trying to accomplish here, see the disparity that these kids have to face, unfortunately, I don't think we're getting so.
I know you spoke to Defect about it too.
Yes, sir.
I know, so you've got 4 districts that are defect districts that are a special facility, not that you want to horse trade to say, maybe we'll come out and support, but obviously, as we sitting here as the small schools consortium, so obviously we want to keep that intact, so maybe that might be a way to reach out to a Sherry Robertson, so.
And obviously, they know that we're going to be pushing them because they're one. So, I can talk to Sherry.
I make a motion that we do the first 3, emphasis certainly on number 1.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the legislative platform for the 19-20 year be focused on Chiefland Middle High School special facility project students with classroom accommodation with FSA and safe schools being fully funded. Is there any discussion?
I get 100% focus on 3, but I'm with Cameron as far as vacation. I think we need to, if we have the time, if the opportunity arises to really focus on vocational issues, we should do that.
I think there's an appetite for that. I think it will be on the state level. When we have our next meeting, which will be right before I go to Kissimmee for the state SBA legislative, I'll get, so Sandy will put this in your packet of what the 12 proposals there, so we can kind of see what it will be, because that is one of their priorities. And it was a priority last year that gained traction. We had the legislative out that was pushed by Representative Sewell out of Citrus County, where the career pathways that was tied to industry certifications and things like that. So I think there will be, continue to be, a statewide appetite on both sides of the aisle and both also in the governor's office to continue that push. That was evident when you heard the fellow speak from the Department of Economic Opportunities at the last school board association conference, and so
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
I have a
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
on the accommodations thing, have you ever written down a specific list of disabilities and learning disabilities that people have that you want addressed by this accommodations bill? I've never seen it.
What it is the avenue we've kind of taken is to, there are so many. When you look at kids that have IEPs, they can opt out of those tests. But kids with 504s, they have accommodations in the classroom to make them very successful. And some of those are very simple things that we have outlined. They're simple things.
What's the Bible?
The 504, Mr. Edison, could you explain the 504 better? Or Dr. Hall, expert 504.
So our student with Section 504 plan is simply a plan to accommodate them. They do not require special design instruction, which is what ESC services would be. So it's basically a plan to level the playing field for our students who have been identified with a disability but does not meet criteria for specially designed instruction.
It's clear.
Very clear.
Clear as mud.
So
Is a
give her-
legal
okay.
document, and the school, the teachers, etc., are required to provide those accommodations that has been developed and decided upon by a team. There's no one individual person that says, Johnny needs X, Y, and Z. A team comes together, the classroom teacher, the administrator, the parent, and many times the student, depending on the age of the student. Is a legal document, just like an IEP.
The 504 is similar to the Americans with Disabilities Act. There was some modeling from the 504 into the ADA process. So if you have a student who has a hearing loss in one ear, their 504 accommodation might be to sit in the front of the room away from the air conditioning unit, so they don't have to deal with that background noise. So it's just accommodating students so they can be more successful with a disability.
But it doesn't rise to the federal one of disability within
IDA.
Right.
It's complex.
And here's the other thing, okay? There's no list that says, and the state says, okay, if you have this, then you get this accommodation. It is on an individual basis. So that means, what's our percentage, Dr. Hall? What are we running at ESE percentage right now?
17% of our
17% of our students. So 17% of our 5,000 plus students are ESE, okay? So on an individual basis, case by case, okay, all right? And he's used this analogy, and he likes to pick on me because I'm short, so I take it. We go to watch a football game, okay? And there's a fence there, okay? All right? Cameron is tall enough to see over the fence. I'm not tall enough to see over the fence. But on Monday, he and I are supposed to write an essay about the football game that we watched. So now, if I don't have the ability to watch the football game, okay, it may be just something as simple as a stool there for me to step up so now I can see the football game, okay? But on a case-by-case, we have to take it, send that to Tallahassee, to DOE, to say, okay, here's what this student has. We want to allow him the stool to be able to step up there to look over the fence, okay? And they have the right to say, well, yeah, that's an okay accommodation, or no, that's not a good enough accommodation, because he should be able to watch a football game just like Cameron does. I can't help it that, you know, God made me the way I am, and, you know, I stop growing whenever I hit the right spot, so that's the thing with accommodations. With Cameron's son, it's as simple as having a sheet of paper that has 3 boxes drawn on the back. So when he walks in to take the state FSA, he doesn't have to take and spend all his time drawing those boxes because he has problems. He's dyslexic. So he has problems. So he spends all his effort to draw those boxes, and that's taking him 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. But in his mind, a simple sheet of paper with 3 boxes that would have helped him organize what the essay that he was going to read there, that doesn't change the validity of that test. That doesn't change what's going on. It's not anything that one to change that is an unfair advantage. His mind works different. It connects the dots differently. So,
I understand all that. But I can see why it would be difficult for the state lawmakers to wrap their brain around what you're trying to say if you don't have very specific
Well,
information.
we've gone in with some very specific things and very specific examples. Here's a fine example, like Chris was discussing, a graphic organizer. The answer was, oh, they can't use graphic organizer. They can only use lined paper. Technically, that's a graphic organizer. It has lines to guide your writing. You tell me what's the difference in that and another paper that has 3 or 4 lines on it.
But our ask is for them to do a study.
Yes, do a study and let's
That's
work it
the
out.
ask.
Let's figure it out.
We simply asked last year for them to put the DOE to put together.
Because other states
It's
have
been,
different interpretations.
how many years since the last?
it's been over 6 years since they've opened up the door and looked at it. So
Okay.
we tried to bring in other states that have taken it and have different accommodations to tie it in. states that are publicly.
So that was the part I didn't know, that you were asking for a study.
Yes, sir.
We want them to just open it up, let's look at it again and see what would benefit these kids.
There's a lot of technology over here 6 years ago. Needs to be looked at.
That was our ask, and it was pushed back that they felt like we needed to go back to DOE with a new Chancellor of Education, or Commissioner of Education, and Chancellor, so, and all of that, so since there was a lot of change. Of course, within that time frame, you had the governor that signed the executive order that we're doing away with Common Core, so now we're going through all this. So there's lots of moving pieces regarding the program, school safety and mental health. It just kind of gets pushed down, and it doesn't become a priority for people that are in charge.
And in reality, it's the right thing to do. After 6 years, think about how much the world has changed in 6 years, and those in the education system. There's all kind of new stuff that's available to help kids. Imagine in your job, right? You're like me, we wear glasses. Imagine in your job, your employer had a rule, go, hey, when you put that together, you can't wear your glasses. All we're asking for is, hey, let's look at that again. Maybe Terry Whit needs his glasses. It's fairly simple. It's the right thing to do.
And sometimes people's personalities get in the way. And that was a problem last session.
Yeah. I think we voted on that item and passed it. Move on to the next item, item H, and that's the minutes of the August 13th board meeting during additions, corrections, or amendments. Legislative license fee.
Yeah.
Let's go. Mr. Witt asked this question after we voted.
Right. Just want to make sure she's got it over here. She held one.
Unanimous, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I move approval of the minutes.
We move to second approval of August 13th board meeting minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Consent agenda, item I. Everybody's had time to look over, entertain any comments or questions on the consent agenda.
I have one thing, I feel, I guess this is second. Kirsten Andrews, going to Cedar Key. She's a friend of mine, and I think she's going to be a big asset over there. She's going to be great.
She had a great principal one time.
You won't believe it, I know mom.
I don't know, Mom, where's your mama from?
Not wrong.
It is, so we're definitely excited. It was a couple weeks before school, I saw her and she made a comment that, I've always thought about teaching. And I said, we got 2 spots available at Cedar Key in the elementary, and come to find out one had just been offered, so it is. We're excited for her and everybody that's coming into Cedar Key. It's a new challenge, so I think so far she's doing a good job stepping up. I think Ms. Marlowe was there, so we had some mentoring going on yesterday in Cedar Key, so very, very appreciative and very happy.
Any other questions, comments on the consent agenda? Just notice we have a couple that are returning to us again to teach. Which are good things they're looking for. I think both of them will nice some graduates that are coming back to teach other things in our campus.
We appreciate you getting trained up.
Yes, sir. Number 10 was about Victoria here. I graduated, Mr. Adville. You're welcome. Here, brother.
Hey, I won't give you credit, man. My son has him and says he's great. And said, look, the man has said, the best thing he ever did was come to Bronson because it's starting to make him feel better about himself. He's speaking his,
All right, is there any further discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Mr. Superintendent, your comments and recommendations?
Yes, sir, just a couple things. As you know, know, we've been making the rounds with our kindergarten t-shirts, class of 2032. We've been in Rossman's and Chiefland thus far. We are going to Yankeetown this afternoon. I think we have a date at noon, am I correct?
Correct.
Lindsay? And so we're going there, and I think it's a great thing, and it's wonderful to see those little in their shirts, and you know, it goes back to our mission statement. When we go back, when we were at our presenting for New Achievement Middle High School, we pounded the mission statement, and we pounded the vision statement of the Florida Department of Education, and it's about right there, and it's graduating kids ready for college career success, and our mission statement supports the vision for the Florida Department of Education. And so that's what we're about, and that's what this is about here, is we're working, this is the first step in their life to graduating them for college career success. So it's a great time, great opportunity, and I happen to be at a Rotary Club meeting with Mr. Keller, and one of the parents in there has a kindergartner, and I told her what we were going to be doing the next day. You can see the tears coming in her eyes and stuff, because it's hard to think of 2032, and that's your baby in there that's 5 years old. And so it's pretty neat. So it's a good thing. And so we're going to Yankeetown today. Also, just want to remind you that next, or September 24th meeting, we start our school visitations, and we're starting to see our kids. So we'll get popped in on Miss Andrews, and see her if you want to, or anything else that you want. And so we're starting that. And I do have to give a shout out, Ms. Hires has made it her mission to, it's one of our goals for our strategic plan, the mentoring program. And I know that's one of our hearts and our passions. She's working really hard to make sure that we equip our people with the tools that they need to have and the support that they need. And we're working real hard with our principals to make sure that our teachers get the support that they need to have to be successful in the classroom. So, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. We'll start with board comments, and we'll do it up to you, Ms. Lewinsky, or which way would you like, ladies first?
I don't have much to say today, other than we're in the grind of school, for sure. There's a lot of excitement going on. We have FFA officer elections, teams being chosen, football games, volleyball games, weightlifting, everybody's really rolling, and it's exciting. I have a good vibe from all of our schools in the county. I think we're on a good path to have a great year.
That's Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Hasbell.
Hey, things have started off very excited. I agree. It seems like everything's rolling good. It's, and I don't know what the secret of it is, but I've visited Bronson High School multiple times now. Pretty well have to be there a lot because I have kids there. But there's this air over there like, hey, we are moving in the right direction. Things are doing good, and a lot of exciting things happening there. Last night we had the fall roundup for the FFA chapter, and had the largest turnout we've ever had at that. They actually ran out of food because they didn't expect the turnout. It was really great, and everybody's excited about contests and things going on there. Yeah, now on the T-shirt thing, I have some sad story to tell. This grandmother came into my office, and she said, "You was at school the other day with my grandbaby." And I said, "Well, who's your grandbaby?" She told me. Well, first that made me realize I'm very, very old, because this grandmother only graduated high school a couple, 3 years older than me. So I really didn't realize. She goes, "Well, there's a problem." I was like, "Why?" She goes, "That child thinks he needs to wear that shirt every day." She said, "So is the school board going to give me some soap money?" I was like, "What?" She goes, "We're having to wash that shirt on a regular basis." She goes, "That is the greatest thing that kid has ever seen." And she goes, "You know, when he graduates, Cameron Hasbell, I'll be 65 years old." I said, "Yeah, I'll be 62. I said, "That is depressing to me." It'd be okay. Those kids were so excited that day. The only person I believe may have been more excited was Miss Beecham. It was a great day. Now, didn't that come out of Chiefland? I hate to say that out loud. Didn't Chiefland have that already kind of going over there? Didn't you say that you saw that somewhere?
Some of the parents have done that.
That
It's not an order.
wasn't an organized thing.
As a matter of fact, I didn't see that until after we had already made our decision.
Oh, well, I'm here to tell you, I think that is great, and to see those kids, y'all haven't done it yet, You're gonna have a great time with that this afternoon.
No.
This is, it is great, it is wonderful, and when you talk to those kids, they'll enjoy it.
Now, you do know that Mr. Asbell was, didn't you at the National FFA, what position were you in?
I was an extemporaneous speaker,
Extemporaneous.
that's.
So as you
basically-
know, he's going to speak, and I didn't know if you want to share some of your comments.
I just explained why it's great to be an Eagle, you know, and those kids just really loved it, and trying to give me trouble. So, I would not be surprised if word gets out about that, there'll be a great exodus of kids to Bronson Elementary School. That's, you know, be forewarned.
We take some locker room talk to the kindergarten.
Man, the kids are pumped up, they're ready. There was one kid said, "Yeah, my cousin goes to Williston. I'm gonna tell him he needs to come over here." I was like, "You do, bud?"
Recruiting's against the rules.
Mr. Cowell. School choice.
Never a dull moment. So, school is starting off well. I'm gonna tip your cap, the Eagle idea. So that's, I know it's a fundraiser for the junior class, so but I think that's been a nice little thing.
That is kind of
In town, seeing and drive, as you drive through and see those, so in your Facebook posts, so about it. We've started well, and like I said, so Ms. Marlowe was there yesterday doing some mentoring, and very appreciative of that. So whenever we have people that aren't coming from an education background, to kind of give them the support, I think that's a step in the right direction, and I think that shows that we're trying to go above and beyond to give them the support and that they need to be successful, and that's what we want. I think when you look at how the school year started, so I know we had to take last Monday off, and I appreciate the superintendent and Mr. Masters, you guys making the decision on that to kind of give some relief to some people that were in a bad way, and couldn't get out, cars flooded and things like that. So very thankful for that. Volleyball has started, so looking forward. We got the first home volleyball game, I think, against Yankeetown on Thursday, and Shark Tank there, so excited for that. And it's just kind of the newness of the school year and the excitement that comes with that. You know, I know it's real easy for people to vote and say something negative, and there was some stuff on Facebook that just kind of was upsetting to me that I saw, and then I saw a wonderful quote this morning. And it said, you know, a bulldog can tear up a skunk, but the bulldog's got to really decide, does he want to do that? And kind of sat with me for a while, and you know, a lot of times, you know, just because you can answer back and you may be on the right, you still gonna come out smelling like a skunk. And so sometimes it's just better to be quiet. And with that, thank you, sir.
Just a couple things, I think it's been said already, but there was last Friday, Thursday, the committee went to Tallahassee. That's 2 years worth of work combined in one presentation with everything on the line. I don't think the amount of effort and work that was put in that and for that to come out successful, because that wasn't a two-pager.
Matter of fact, we did our last run through Williston, 5 years.
It takes a lot. Mr. Locke can sit back there quietly. There's been a lot of documents. Looked
Oh, yeah.
at a lot of times and
A lot of resolutions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Long's tired.
Right. Mr. Locke hadn't started yet. Anyway, I just want to thank the committee, and I'm sorry that I was the one who held up the whole board from going, so I was delivering my daughter back to Texas to college, so I couldn't do it. The Masons, I had to text on the way over to figure out we had a school board. Masons in Williston doing a pancake breakfast October the 5th, and they do a teacher appreciation award, so that money goes towards that, and they would like to help. They're going to put out some flyers and get them up to help support that project. Mr. Asbell, I don't do this very many times, this might have been a little bit political. We have not handed out or done our shirts to our kids. So now that I've heard all your great ideas and your speeches, we're gonna top all of that Friday morning and we're gonna bullet.
Want me to come do it for you?
At 10 o'clock.
Want me to come do it? That would be great.
If you like to come watch, more than welcome, 10 a.m. Friday morning.
If you need me, I'll be there. I can't say they want orange, they won't want orange and blue when they leave.
Yeah. I think it's been a good start to the year, with all the changes. Had a lot of discussions with a lot of people on the telephone. There's a lot of things done behind the scenes that people don't see, and things that we're having to administer at the beginning of the school year. Of course, a lot of it, we're not supposed to see, because a lot of them are safety issues, a lot of them, I think, done a tremendous job under the spotlight and the scope that it's been under since the beginning. And Mr. Master, there's no doubt yours has been part of the biggest change within the county. Could you give us an update? I know at the last board meeting you said that we had reduced routes by 5 or 3 routes, right?
We reduced the routes 10%, is what I'm saying, from the previous year, when I started.
And I know from the beginning of school where we had pre-K for the first time this year on our school buses and the safety things, I think our parents are realizing that it may take a minute longer because of some safety issues. And I know that the first week of school that they realized they have to be a little patient. But I think it's getting, am I right, our response time is faster? I mean, every day is getting better and better and better.
That's correct. One of the things, and just, this is new for the board, we met with, I sent John some information that I received from T-Mobile. And so we sat down and mobilized a grant that we're interested in, we're evaluating. But in that conversation with T-Mobile, they talked about the ability to, for parents through an app to be able to find the track for the child on the bus. And I think Alachua County does that, in my understanding, is that right? That's correct.
That is something that they have looked at, whether full implementation of that, I think is still.
So that's a conversation that we're having. I don't know if it will get there or not. But I know, like in today's world with parents, I know that some folks, if you have teenagers, like 360 is a great app. You know, because you know wherever your child is at and how fast they're doing it. And you set boundaries, so it's a good thing. And so we're looking at we're looking at the technology and how it goes. And some of it's coming through that grant. Will we get there or not, I don't know yet. So we're evaluating the scenario.
A lot of it's just communication.
Yes.
Early in the school year, I had a conversation with one individual who's a friend of mine. I said, I understand that there are 50 students on that bus, and I understand they're 30 minutes late. But if they make a phone call, all 50 students' parents, and it takes 2 minutes apiece, your child's already going to be home 45 minutes by the time you get the phone call. It just, the amount of speed and time, and understand that our Williston bus routes a little different.
Yeah, they're more
in a two-tier
complicated.
system, it makes it more complicated.
And with the little fellows, and we want to make sure that we put the little fellows on the right bus. And when they don't, the procedures and routines and the newness of the faces and everything else, and it takes longer to make sure that we get it right, because there's no second chance. You got to get right first chance. And unfortunately, that takes time. So it'll get better.
I appreciate your work. It's, from a parent standpoint, I understand I have one child on one bus, and you have 55 buses that run around the county like bumblebees, morning and afternoon to get it done, so it's more complicated than one student on one bus. I appreciate the work, and I know you have substitutes, you have breakdowns, it's a mountain.
And roll that into early kindergarten and pre-K
Right.
process.
Understood. Get better every day.